Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the evolving convo I had with Lindy Nowak in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us. And by the way, last time Brad and I did a recap, we realized that we actually kind of only introduced ourselves, or at least I'm only introduced at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
So, hello, I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
And I don't really know how we changed that intro, but we'll think about it.
We will.
We'll consider it.
Yeah, it'll be, welcome back to the episode. And I'm Brad, and I'm sitting across from the lovely Lesley Logan.
That's right.
Maybe it'll be like that.
I don't know.
Y'all can vote. You just tell us if I should introduce us or if she should introduce us.
Hey, it's kind of my pond. And we'll think about it. Well, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, babe.
So as you are listening to this, we are in Cambodia. We are at our house in Siem Reap, Cambodia, and hopefully on a water village tour. So we are totally recording this early, but we're going to act like it's happening now.
Happening right now, this second.
So we're just really super excited to be in Cambodia. To be honest, like, I'm jonesing for this, and I have not had to actually make sure that my clothes fit in a our carry-on only bag in 2.5 years. So this is also going to be interesting.
March 2020.
Yeah. Because we've been road tripping. So I'm like, load up the van.
Yeah.
Put it all.
She's like, I'll just put all my shoes in this other bag. I'm like, that's a massive bag.
Yeah, but I need all the tennis shoes because I can have them. It's going to be fine. It's like an old hat. I'll figure it out. It'll feel really good. But if you are like, oh, I missed this one, you did. You totally missed this retreat. And so you should sign up for the wait list, because we will come one time next year on a retreat. And Brad is looking up that link.
It's actually lesleylogan.co/retreats.
Perfect. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I actually am still kind of coming off of the excitement of our in-person business retreat. I just wanted to say a big shout out to some people. Thank you, Mai, for being an amazing speaker. Thank you, Girl Squad, for being an amazing photographer. Thank you to the Intelligent Change people who did this 5-minute journal, because you gave all of our retreaters a 5-minute journal. Yeah, they did.
Big shout out.
Big shout out. Also to Bronze Cafe for keeping us full with your amazing, amazing, amazing food, to Main Street Provision. I feel like I'm accepting an award, but really I'm just giving them one, saying all these thank yous. And I just wanted to say that because we didn't have a chance before the retreat to actually do that, since we didn't have all of the goodness in our hands to shout out to those people. So big thank you. You did miss out on all the Profitable Eyes retreats if you were not at the 2 that we had this year.
And guess what?
We're not having one in 2023.
True.
We're like making that a firm decision, even though I freaking loved it so much.
It was so good.
And I may do a 2.0 situation with the people who already came, but it might still have to be in early 2024. I'm going to be really honest.
But that one's probably going to be invite only.
It's going to be invite only.
So,
yeah.
There's an opportunity here to get on the wait list. Here's the deal. If you are interested in coming to Vegas to do a business retreat, you can tell us by getting on the wait list for that. profitablepilates.com/retreats. Plural, okay? Retreats, plural. That's how we'll know if you are interested in joining a retreat with us here in Vegas. And right now we're looking at 2024.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a while, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be okay. And you know what? You can still coach with us.
Yeah,
and
totally.
A lot of it's happening live, just not in our house, over at Agency, which is profitablepilates.com/agency.
That's right.
Anyways, we had an audience question to respond to.
We totally did. It was a really great question. And I'm super glad we got this, because this is actually something that Lesley and I struggle with, to be honest.
Yeah.
How do you switch off from quote unquote business thinking is the main question. And here's a little bit of background. I love being entrepreneurial in my approach to my business. I have my studio and office at home. And at times I feel like I'm always working. I'm just always working. I'm juggling life at home with my head occupied in my business most of the time. Does anybody else struggle with this? How do you shut off from your business in the evenings or during family time or just on a lazy Sunday when your mind won't let you rest?
I mean, this is amazing. It's one of our listeners and one of our agency members had asked this. And so when I gave her tips, I think I listed out 8 different ideas. And then I wrote, yeah, I did. I'll share them with you after you go first. But I was like thinking things. I was like, sometimes I have to literally leave the house, like go shopping. like I have to get out. I have to get away from everything. And that is when I've had the most laziest Saturdays. It's been when we're not here and we're just like doing things that people do in normal life, like errands. I'm like, wow, look how lazy I'm being.
Well, you've nailed it. Like there's a couple, like the thing that I noticed, because I've been working from home since 2010. And on and off, but like that was the first time I ever did it. And the biggest struggle that I had was my apartment was small, so I only had one space, and that space was either I'm working in there, but I'm also hanging out in there. I'm also eating in there. I'm also like, it was where I lived. So, what ended up happening over time was if I was in that space, my mind was in work mode, and so at night I couldn't. I was always thinking about work. And when we moved, years later now, we moved to Vegas, the biggest thing for me was priority having an office. I have to have an office because it allowed me to dedicate an environment, like you were just talking about, to when I'm in this room, I'm working. I'm intentionally working. This is not when I'm relaxing. I'm not watching TV in here. I'm not reading a book in here. This is me working. If I am not in this room, meaning I go into the kitchen, maybe even for lunch, okay, I'm now at the kitchen table. I'm actually enjoying life. I'm watching a thing, or I'm listening to a pod, or I'm eating my lunch or whatever, and I'm not working. And so when you associate your work with a space, it will allow you to more easily, quote unquote, change hats, right? Mm-hmm. And now you still have to be giving yourself permission, okay? Because ultimately, it's not like you can't beat yourself up over this, like, oh, I'm thinking about work again. But really, what it is giving yourself permission to not work, okay? And that's the thing. Like as an entrepreneur, that's the really hard part.
That's really great. Permission to not work.
Yeah.
Boom. Right there.
Yeah. And I struggle with that. Like we have a team. I feel obligated to make sure that the business is moving forward. We're always bringing in money. We can meet payroll, all those kinds of things. And when I'm stressed, if I'm highly stressed, I really have a hard time not working. And my environment, it's even more important for me because, it's unhealthy to just work. And so it's really important to dedicate focus and stress in one space. And then when I'm out of that, I have to actually go, I'm just going to eat dinner now.
Yeah. So agreed. And it's, it also is hard if both of you are entrepreneurs. So
that's where we definitely struggle.
If you are the only one who's entrepreneurial in your household, that's actually kind of nice because you just need to have to sit down with your family and have a code word like banana. So when you start to work and it's not a quick note to yourself because you had an idea, because you will have ideas. That's the hard part. You will have ideas around, you'll see a billboard and you'll be at this thing. You'll go to a farmer's market. You're like, oh, I love this logo. Oh, I could do this. And you'll have an idea. So you can quickly voice memo yourself or send yourself an email or something like that. But then if you kept going, if you start to write a whole blog post around what your idea was, then they should be able to go, whatever the code word is, just snap you back out of it. And that's okay. You have to also give yourself, it's going to be okay. Like you said, not get mad at yourself if you do start to think about work. The other thing is that there are so many apps today that will actually turn things off that you can't have access to. So I would, the book is Indistractable by Nir Eyal, and he had a ton of different services that are out there that can lock up certain apps on your phone, on your computer. So at certain times you can't use them. Something that we had my assistant do was come over and get on my phone and literally set up different types of D&Ds. So there is on Apple, it's like the focus mode, right? So I have the hard do not disturb, which somehow Brad still can get through, which sometimes you hear on a podcast. Sorry, loves.
I'm winking at you if you're watching on YouTube.
He can get through on a phone call, not on a text. I don't hear that. But then I have a work one, which allows people on my team who have my phone number to get through to me, but no one else. And then there's like other ones you can have, right? So, and those can actually be set to automations so that you don't have to think about it. The work one will come on at a certain time every day and end at a certain time. The sleep one will come on at a certain time and end at a certain time. So like you can actually have those in place. A couple other ideas. I actually have as few work apps on my phone as possible. I have to do social media for work, but all those accounts are in one folder and I don't have any red dots on any of them. So I'm not tempted to go check Facebook on a non-work day. I only check it when I'm working.
Yeah.
So these are some other things you can do. And then I love that we can close the door to our office. I also love like just closing my computer. There's certain things you can do that says I'm no longer working. Like maybe you need a sign. Like one of the girls on agency because she lived and worked in her same space, is that she actually had an open and close sign. So she flipped the sign open when she walked in because she's open for business, and then she would close it as like a physical thing. So it really is.
I know you also have like on your actual calendar, end of workday.
It does say that.
Literally input in your workday around 4:30 or 5 o'clock, whatever.
Yeah. Yep, I have that. I also have a thing that comes up, no appointments. I have all these things are in place to protect myself from myself.
Right. Totally. And also like when we take our evening walks, we used to like chit chat about business the whole walk. And what we realized is we never actually leave time for ourselves to just be together and walk and listen to a pod or just talk or whatever. But as soon as it starts to be a brainstorming session, we try to put a pin in it and be like, hey, let's talk about that tomorrow. Because otherwise, we could talk about business until, the next day.
Well, also because not only do we have 3 businesses, we also coach 145 businesses. So it's like kind of easy to talk about business for anybody, anytime, but it's true. I also now leave unless I'm walking the dogs alone, I leave my phone at the house.
Yeah.
And that allows only your phone is with us. And it's usually playing a podcast that we've decided we both want to listen to. And we chit chat about the podcast.
Yep.
That's it. So, it takes practice. It's not a perfect, I'm be real honest. We're not even close, but I do really think the sum of it is like giving yourself permission to be off and also being kind to yourself when you're not. And then whatever you can do to like almost create babysitting things or childproof locks for yourself, until it becomes natural for you to just be off on your day off. Yeah. Great question. You can send your questions into the Beit Pod on Instagram.
Yes.
We love answering them. They can be about anything. They can be about business. They can be about life, dating, dogs. One of ours is snoring in the background. It's cool.
Okay, now let's talk about Lindy Nowak. Lindy is an entrepreneur that left the New York City career path to begin her own website agency. She knows that each small business deserves a great website that properly meets clients' needs, and as the founder and leader of upinaday.co, Lindy works to encompass. Wow. Let's start that sentence over again. As the founder and leader of upinaday.co, Lindy works to encompass patience and confidence in her business and team. That's a word, encompass.
I think she's so cool. I really love her drive. I also loved, she was so fucking vulnerable and authentic. She was an open book about her struggles, her trials, and everything. And I love that because that's how we are. And you cannot be it till you see it if you think that at all anyone is like slaying it overnight. No one is an overnight success. I promise you. I dare you to show me someone who literally is an overnight success. What you're showing me is someone who finally got noticed after years of preparation that meets opportunity, period.
Yep.
And so I just thought it was really cool.
Years.
Yeah.
Years.
Years.
And I think that was great because she had an expectation of, putting her services out there and then just like clients are coming, woohoo. And, now she said it's been 2.5 years and now it feels like they're busy and they have consistency and things are beginning to go down that path. But, at first it was like, she's got to fight and, scratch and claw for every single client. Like because there's a lot of competition and stuff. And
I mean, also like, even the companies, even the coaches, even the businesses that you see out there that are like selling programs out, they're not just turning on like, okay, everyone can sign up and it sells out.
Right.
Like even us, we have to all year long be building relationships, be building that pipeline, be building that thing so that when we do those things, it mostly fills up and then we work really hard to get the rest. And so I just really love that she was so vulnerable and shared all of that because so many of you have shared with me where you're at in your journey.
Sure.
And it's important that you hear that even the people that you hear on this podcast, even the people that you see out there putting this beautiful social media together, they're working really hard.
Yeah.
They're working really hard. So anyway, one of the things I love that she said is the concept of bridging to create change in your life. I love a good bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good bridge. I am a great bridge. That's at least what people say in the Pilates community is like, you're a great bridge. I am. So she talked about a couple bullet points are creating a bridge between one project and the next, or one business and the next, or between your full-time job and the business you want to start. And she was talking about running her marketing thing and then coming into Up in a Day. I have bridged many, many times in my life. And even including adding this podcast in, there had to be a bridge to that. So
sure.
Anytime you're wanting to put something new into your life, there is going to have to be a bridge of time because you're going to have this ideal dream schedule where that thing exists in it. And then you have your current one. And then it's like, what negotiations do I have to do with time and money to make room for the thing that I want to be the thing that I'm doing?
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea of just simply, quitting one thing and starting the next thing the next day is not realistic. It just never seems to happen that way. Typically you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and then something happens. Usually you have to take the leap, right? And you actually have to completely remove yourself from the first situation, usually because you're stuck on getting a paycheck from somewhere and you fear that you're not going to be able to replace that income when you're starting the new thing, whatever the new thing might be. And I mean, I can attest to that. That was like literally the reason why I stayed in the shittiest situation where it was so stressful all the time. And it was because I was getting paid well enough that it made me go, I don't know how I'm going to replace this income, so maybe I should stick around. And ultimately, it was very stressful to do that.
Well, we actually just talked about this with one of our retreat girls. She has a job that pays her bills.
Yes.
And she doesn't want to do it. She wants to do this other thing. But, one of the things that holding her back was health insurance. And I was like, have you just researched how much health insurance costs? Like, have you sat down and what if, I think one of the suggestions was like, just get like a show up job. Like you show up, do the job and you fuck off. Like you leave.
Well, so what the suggestion was, and this was brilliant. I will happily share. This was Melissa Capitano's
amazing
recommendation, idea. And she said, okay, how much are you making each month? Can you live on less than that? If you can live on less than that for multiple months, put the rest of that money aside. So like, let's just say you're making $5,000 a month. Can you live on 3? If you can live on 3, stash that 2,000, right? And she said, give yourself a number of months until you've been able to put aside 6 months worth of $3,000. So in that scenario, if you're making 5 and you're living on only 3, you're saving $2,000 a month. So you would need, if you have 6 months, $18,000 set aside. So we're actually looking at 9 months of preparation.
But in the grand scheme of your life, 9 months is nothing.
Well, that would give you your 6-month runway. Then, hypothetically, you could quit cold your full-time job and start your new thing.
Yeah.
But you've been planning for 9 months.
Yeah.
Alternatively, the second suggestion that Melissa had was, what if you did that for only a couple months, put a little bit of money aside, and then you left the full-time job that's actually capturing all of your brain? Because really, that's what it is. It's like you come home and you're fried because you've been working so hard mentally, that by the end of the night, you just don't even want to think anymore. So you don't have time. You don't have the mental energy to work on your thing. What if you could get a throwaway job? Actually, I think this became like part of the conversation at that point.
Thanks, Emily, for she called it the throwaway job, or the just show up job, or the shut it off job.
And typically that would be in the service industry where, you're not necessarily making the decisions. You're just filling in, and you're probably not making what you need to make, but it's a short-term income stream that you can keep for 3 to 6 months. It's the bridge, right? And it allows you, maybe you have that couple $1,000s stashed for emergency stuff, but you have some of your income coming in. But really what's happening is now, instead of working 40 to 60 hours a week, you're only working 40 hours a week at the most. And you're not mentally taxed at the end of the day. When you get out of your job, guess what? You're probably on fire to work on your side project, because you certainly don't want to work in this throwaway job forever.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. And like I said, typically in the service industry, it might not be your end all goal. And every time you go in and work on that, it's going to be very real for you. Like, I don't want to be here forever. I better get my stuff together on my project. Right.
Yeah.
So I thought those were really helpful suggestions.
I love that she shared it, because like her thing is so cool. Up and Day is so cool. And it can be, as she tells her story, and this is not a slight to her. We do this. Everyone does this. You don't want to tell the whole journey in your story. Your story is like, I left this thing and I created this thing. And it's because the bridge is actually like the middle, and no one really fucking loves the middle. Like, the middle is the middle. And so, but I had to ask her, I'm like, well, did you just turn that off and off? I was trying to think of, like, is there ever a scenario where something gets turned off and they only go on to the turn on? And that is, you get fired and you have a severance package to pay your fucking runway. That is the only time, because all of my friends have been fired, didn't actually have the money to go right into their side hustle. They had to get a job to cover their bills. So
typically.
She's great. Anyways, what did you love?
Well, what I loved was this idea of the Pomodoro Method.
I'm excited to see if you do this, actually, because it's really up your alley.
It is up my alley. I've never heard of it before, and it's a productivity method. So what is it? It's a productivity method. What does it actually mean? It's Italian for tomato. I think that's funny. Pomodoro is tomato in Italian. Why would you do the Pomodoro Method? It promotes sustained concentration, and it staves off mental fatigue. Okay? So if you are like me, you have far too much to do in one day, and you get burned out, and then you just stop, right? So this method will help you sustain your concentration level and stave off mental fatigue. Who is it for? And I did a whole bunch of reading on this, and I created...
I'm seeing that.
Yeah, I created a whole list on this. So who's it for? It's for people who find that small things derail your entire workday. Here's a great example of a small thing that derails your workday. You are working. A notification comes along. It's a text message. Bam, you're now no longer working. You're now on this text message. It is also for like email coming in or anything. If you're in a work environment and people can interrupt you, that is the most incredibly distracting thing. Okay, second, if you feel like you're slogging through a project way past when your brain is firing well, then this Pomodoro Method could be for you. Meaning, if you're like, oh my God, I have to write a 50-page paper so that I can get my master's degree, and I've been staring at a blank screen and I just can't think, right? Maybe you could use the Pomodoro Method.
Amy Ladine's kids use it. They are homeschool, and she taught them the Pomodoro Method. She also taught them how to read like Jim Quick does. And so
crazy. I love that.
It's so cool, but they get all of their homework done, and they're not taxed in the day. They're not cranky, and they love it. They're like, they set their little timer up. It's so fun. It's really easy to do once you know all the ways to do it.
So that rolls right into the next. Who is this for? If you have lots of open-ended work that could take an unlimited amount of time, for example, studying for an exam, making social media posts, writing blog posts. For me, it's checking my damn email. It just seems like it never ends. Like if you have lots of open-ended work that could take an unlimited amount of time, this could be for you, right? It's not like, okay, I have to load the laundry. There's a start and a stop. No, like those ongoing projects, you could use this method. If you're like me, and I already said this, and you have 50 things to do, and you're pretty sure you're going to get them all done in a day, but in reality, you never actually get any of that done. You get like 3 things done. I always think I can get done more than I actually get done. Maybe this method will work for you. Lastly, notice I'm not saying that this method will work for me. Maybe I'm not avoiding this. I swear.
Here's what I want to know. I'm going to hold you to this. Amanda, help me out here. I want Brad to try this out before his next solo episode so he can report back if he actually gets his ish done.
Oh, jeez.
Because
the gauntlet has been thrown. All right. The other thing is, if you love a good challenge or a game, you can gamify your work by using the Pomodoro Method. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. So the question is, how do you do it? Okay, so there are a series of steps. I wrote down 7 of them. Most people write down 5, but I thought I'll break it out in a couple more easy steps. Step number 1 is to turn off all distractions and notifications. Off. No, nothing can distract you. You have to be 100%
hard D&D.
You have to be 100% able to focus. So nothing flashing on your screen, no phone, no flashing lights. People are not allowed to come into your office. If they do, you punch them in the face. It's like hard punch in the face. No, don't do that. Okay, step 2.
My face for the listeners is like, like this is the least violent person in the world, and he's like, punch him in the face.
Step 2, pick one task. Okay, now this is not a project. This is a task. This is a task that you can complete. Okay. And if it's that ongoing thing, take a bite-sized piece of that ongoing thing. Okay. I'm going to answer 15 emails. Okay. Next is set a 25-minute timer. 25 minutes. Okay. Then start that timer. Step 4, focus on that task until your timer is up. Step 5, take a 5-minute break. Step 6, start another 25-minute timer. Right? Then a 5-minute break, then another 25-minute timer, then a 5-minute break. Okay, so you see the idea here. But
step 7.
The last step is you figure out 3 or 4 hours of these 30-minute blocks, 25 working, 5 minutes off, 25 working, 5 minutes off, 3 or 4 hours at the max. Then you get up, take a walk, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. You actually take a legit break. That could be eating lunch. That could be walking on the block. That could be making the phone call to your folks because it's somebody's birthday, whatever. Those things that like get your mind back into a different mode where you're not concentrating on work. And then you could do a whole nother round 2 of this, another 3 or 4 hour session. And then bam, you've now literally worked an 8-hour workday. So that's the Pomodoro Method.
I'm so excited to see you do this. I love it.
Yeah. It's for me, I set aside time. I have a lot of meetings. So like I will, like when I have to actually get work done, like it'll have to rearrange my schedule to be like, here's my 3-hour Pomodoro time of actual work. Don't bother me. No meetings, also, no phone calls.
What if you just like, sometimes you just have 25 minutes. So what if you just did the Pomodoro for 25 minutes?
Totally.
I mean, we use a timer, but with time cubes, we talked about that before, but like, I think you should try it.
Yeah.
This is me kindly asking you.
This is me deciding myself, being the rebel, making my own decision that I am going to do the Pomodoro Method.
If you all know Gretchen Rubin, I am an upholder. He is a rebel. I'm trying really hard not to make him do it because then he fucking won't do it. But I'm really hoping that because he loves me so much, he'll try something.
Oh, yes. All the things. Don't worry, I'm not very easily guilted. So
he's not. Somehow I still get my way.
I love it.
You're listening to a podcast that was definitely me getting my way.
So that's the Pomodoro Method, everyone. All right, so finally, let's talk about those beit action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Lindy Nowak? I'm going to jump in. So she said right away, or she said actually last, she gave us 3 things, but one of them was the Pomodoro Method, but she'd already talked about that. She said, hey, write lists, get it out of your head. Start your morning or the end of your day with writing everything out that you need to do for that day or for the next day. So essentially, it needs to be on paper. If you're trying to juggle it in your brain, the list of things you have to do, you will not be able to focus. And I know this because I was like this. I could not focus because I was trying to remember all the stuff. Second, I started writing things down and I could see it in front of me. Then I allowed myself not to worry that I was going to miss something because I could see it in front of me. Very, very straightforward. This is not like rocket science, but it's so funny how many of us try to remember our mental checklist in our head. Get it out of your head onto paper.
I can't even remember what I did this morning. So I gave up on remembering my task lists, but I do love this. I write things out in the morning on my walk. And I rarely check it back, but I like to get it out of my head.
Well, it's good. But like I said, the bigger picture there is not whether you check it. The bigger picture is there that you are setting yourself up to release it. You don't have to worry about forgetting it because you wrote it down.
Yeah.
And that worry, like it's subconscious. You might not even realize you're worrying about your list, but you are, and it's mentally taxing. It is draining. Do
you know what it makes me think of? It's when you get mad at me for how many tabs I have open and on my phone. Like I have all my apps open on my phone. And like all these apps are running in the background, so my phone is always dying. Like the battery is always dying. And to the point that my husband doesn't let me leave the house without actually taking a battery with me, or I find my phone on a charger and I didn't put it there. So, but when you try to keep your list in your brain, you are literally draining your battery. So
that's a great comparison.
I thought so. I think I'm pretty good at this.
That's good. That was good.
Thank you. I think I'll keep this job.
What about you?
My biggest takeaway is be kind to yourself. Place yellow sticky notes with affirmations throughout your house. I love this. I love this. I mean, I tell myself amazing things all day long, as we all know. But if you are not so great at that, which I didn't used to be, one of the things I had done was actually set reminders on my phone to go off at random times of the day and week. Good one. So sometimes things happen daily, sometimes things happened like randomly on the week, and it would be 3:33 or whatever, just like a random time, and it would say things that were a positive affirmation. So take a moment to do that, and then also get sticky notes. Brad and I used to leave each other little sticky notes, and there's something really fun about that. We should bring that back.
I think so too. I forgot about that.
Oh, we used to leave each other notes every day, on each other's coffee. I think right now I'm a little concerned about the white countertop, so leave me a note somewhere else. But, but literally look up positive affirmations. Like she said, just Google them. And then the ones that resonate with you, write them down. And if you don't like your handwriting, print them out and tape them around your house in random spots. They will surprise you. I know you think, oh, I'll see them. No, they'll surprise you all the time. Sometimes I look over, I'm like, oh, look what I did right there. That's so fun. So I really love this because life is already hard enough. You do not have to be harder on yourself than life already is. So please be kind to yourself. And I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to the Beit Podcast. We are so obsessed with you. I can't even believe that this is episode 148.
It's crazy.
That means next episode we talk together is 150. We didn't even celebrate that. You can watch this on YouTube. On the YouTube.
The YouTubes.
Yeah, you can. That's
and you should, actually. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got great earrings on today, so I hope you do. And you can follow us on Instagram at the Beit Pod. We're also on TikTok and Slaying over there, by the way.
How about that?
So if you are a TikToker, you can follow us there. Leave your comments, leave your questions. That's how we answer them on the Beit Pod. And until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Fratarelli.
Kevin Perez at Diseño handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jairo Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Pedroso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.